Hey everyone, this is Narcissist. I'm asking for a friend podcast, and my name is Tyler King, and this is my co-host Karen Maldonado. And we are here helping our viewers understand what it's like if you're in a relationship with someone that's in the narcissistic tendencies. And we just want to let you know up front that we do take it from a Christian perspective, so we don't have like a narcissist bashing session. We really want to just help you to learn how to deal with things emotionally and keep healthy emotionally and be able to be in these relationships where you can find a way either to work together peacefully and have other family members so that you don't feel like you're in this alone. So we really just want to be here as a source to help you manage those relationships. So Karen, we had a great topic we were talking about last time about how we can accidentally, raise a narcissistic child. But one of the other things is if we don't get it under control, now you're ending up in a narcissistic teenager because now they're in the adolescent stages, and we know how defiant some teenagers can be, and they're kind of coming into themselves, and they kind of have a lot of they challenge you a little bit more. They're coming into themselves. So Karen, what have you found that are some of the things that you realize, hey, I may have missed this when they were a child, but now I'm really seeing these signs as they're a teenager? Help us out.
Well, I really highly recommend for anybody that is struggling with their teens to read a book. It's
Mhm.
have a New Teenager by Friday, and that's by
Mhm.
Dr. Kevin Leman. It's been around a long time. He's
Oh,
written
wow. Okay.
books. But a lot of the things that I help parents with when they're trying to, work with little ones
Right.
come from his original book called Have a New Kid by Friday. So
Right.
it's, have a new teenager by Friday is
Mhm.
just kind of following up with the same types of things, but now more applicable to the things that teenagers will come up with. Now, a little person might not be very disrespectful. They might know, that's, not going to be a good thing to do because they've learned, growing up in their house or even going to school from teachers. The teachers will correct them. They learn, social norms from being around people, right?
Mhm.
But let's just say you have a teenager that's showing some narcissistic tendencies and they're very, very disrespectful. It could be that they're disrespectful to one parent because the other parent is the narcissist, and this is behavior now that they're learning from that parent.
Right.
And so that's been modeled for them, and they see how the other parent kind of gets away with it with the empathetic parent, probably is what we're talking about. And
Mhm.
so the one that has been, receive on the receiving end of the bad behavior from the maybe the other parent now finds themselves on the receiving end by the child because
Right.
the child has learned it. So now it's going to be important for this parent to, show this child that you just can't do that. So, and same thing as what I explained in the last segment was that we would, you don't want the kid to see you get angry. You don't want to let the kid see that they're in control of your emotions. However they act is how your day is going to go. You don't
Mhm.
want to think that they have that kind of power over you. So
That's right.
what you want to do is you want to, create leverage. And so kind of the same idea of how we talked about allowance with little people
Yes.
works with big kids too. But now, okay, so now you've got a kid that, maybe he's 16 and he can drive.
Mm.
So, he is very disrespectful on Friday, but now on Saturday he wants to go with his friends with your car to the football game. And
Right.
you know, he says that he wants to take your car. Can I have your car? So Saturday morning, after he's been disrespectful Friday, he wants to go
Right.
on Saturday. That's the chance for the parent now. No, I'm sorry. Why,
Mm.
why can't I have the car? Everybody else's mom and dad give them the car. Why can't I have the car? Well, I don't know what everybody else's family is doing, but on Friday, I wonder how they were talking to their parent because what you said to me
Right.
yesterday, blah, blah, blah. And that's just not acceptable. And so when I see that you behave more like an adult, because the way you treated me was very childish, when I see
Right.
that you can treat me with respect, like somebody that deserves to drive my car, then you'll have my car. So yeah, no need to raise the voice. Just
Mhm.
now, the kid may start having a tantrum, right? Doesn't matter if he's 16, he knows how to have a tantrum.
Of course.
So at that point, now you say, okay, if you want to continue to behave like a child, which is what you're doing right now, you will not have my car for the next month. So you decide
Mm,
right now how your behavior is going to remain. Is it going to be like this, or is it going to change and be more respectful and act more like an adult? Because if I see change in you, I am more than happy to bless you with my car.
that's
If I
right.
see disrespect and a kid that doesn't deserve to be given what he's asking for, then you're not going to get it. So
That's
you
right.
make the choice. It's not up to me. This is up to you. You have the say in this. So
Ooh, I love it.
yeah.
I love that because you're turning it on them. You're
Mhm.
making them make the decision. If I don't change my attitude, this is the outcome of what's going to happen. And I love it. But then the more important thing is stick to that boundary. Whatever you set, stick to it, right? Or else it
Exactly.
doesn't work.
Right. And that's why you don't want to do it out of anger, because a lot of times parents will become like a volcano and say, "You're not having my car for a year."
Right.
You're not gonna follow through with that. And the
Right.
kid knows that. So don't set a boundary that you can't even follow.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. And and some of the things that the teenagers might do, how would they interact with their siblings? So you're talking about attitude towards you, but if they have other siblings, how would a teen that's narcissistic act towards their other siblings, even whether they're older or younger siblings?
They will choose one, usually that is the one that gets the brunt of their whatever,
Yeah.
their moodiness or whatever it is that they've got going on.
Hmm.
There'll be another one that, it depends on how many siblings they have too.
Right.
But there usually be one. If they only have one sibling, then that's the one usually that's gonna get the brunt of it. They're usually against them all the time.
Okay, so let's just say if it's three of them total, so they have like a brother and a sister. So let's go
Yep.
with that.
Okay. So three kids.
Yeah, three kids
Okay.
total.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is are we talking about a narcissistic male and then he has a brother and a sister?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So the narcissistic male um will choose which one. This it's no set thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's the brother all the time that's the one that he's nicer to, or the sister that he's nicer to, but usually whoever he chooses is the one that's the scapegoat all the time. So,
Mhm.
and what they'll do then, which is what happens then later on in life in a couple situation with kids too, they will choose one that's going to be the one that they'll be nice to try to make the other one feel bad.
Okay. Okay.
So if it's that, so the narcissist is, you've got the covert narcissist, and then you've got the overt narcissist. Covert is kind of like where they've got a lot of narcissistic tendencies, but it's not as obvious to the outside.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Overt narcissist is kind of like overarching. It's like
Mm.
in every area of their life. So it depends on what we're talking about. Probably not so much. You might not see it so much with the covert, but you'll see it with the overt, where they will choose a favorite in order
Yeah.
to hurt. It's not really about the one that's the favorite. It's not really that they're really trying to make them feel so good. It's that they're trying to make the other one feel so bad and
Right.
leaving them out, you know, teasing them and sometimes it's physical. Just depends on the dynamic that the kid portrays, and everyone's different. So, but it's the main thing is to have somebody that's the punching bag.
Yeah. So they take pleasure in someone's pain. So they take pleasure in seeing that one sibling feeling left out, not feeling like they're a part of the family, maybe making fun of them so that they're probably crying or
Yeah.
feeling bad themselves. So
Yes.
that narcissistic child would really go all out to make sure that one child just feels absolutely horrible about themselves. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
you know, at any cost, pretty
Right.
much.
Right. There's a lot of venom toward that one person, and
Mm.
yeah, and the narcissist doesn't really know why they are that way. They just feel like we've just always disliked each other, but it's not really that. It's that that other person is their victim. So
They're victim. It's what they get their I hate
supply,
to say their high or whatever they
yeah,
get supply, right?
supply.
So and that's even worse when you have the narcissistic sibling and a parent that's a narcissist, and then they both kind of join forces against that one child.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because that can happen as well, where
yes,
you see that, and then that child just absolutely feels like the black sheep of the family.
yeah, yeah. They're beat up for sure.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And then let's just flip it. What about if it's a narcissistic female? Do you see differences in how the narcissistic female adolescent would act towards their siblings? Let's say
Um,
it's two girls. They have two sisters. How does that normally work out?
well, it depends. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that will change the situation. So let's say it is two girls and there's a brother also. Um,
Mhm.
if let's say the girl is older than the narcissistic kid, then
Yes.
then let's just say that these two sisters, the older one's the nice one, the middle child is the girl, is the narcissist. She may choose to be not so nice to the brother because they're always thinking about secondary gain. What
Yeah.
can I get out of being nice to this one? So the older one has a lot of boys that she hangs around with and girls, and
Yeah.
the middle child wants to spend a little bit more time with the cute boys that are in her grade. And
Yeah.
so she wants
Okay.
to be nice to her because there's a secondary gain.
Interesting. Wow. And
Mhm.
then the younger sibling has nothing to offer. So it's like,
Right. Nothing to offer. And so she's okay making them the punching bag if she has time, if she even cares to at that time in her life. Depends on how, how busy is her life. Is her life busy enough that she doesn't really even notice it? That's fine too. It's all about how, what gives me a feeling that I'm getting some supply, and what is it that I want to do this with. And if there's a narcissistic parent and another parent in that particular family,
yes.
that middle child will probably beat up on that parent in emotional ways, like not
Mm,
physically, at least I hope not, but emotionally try to wear them down by things that they say to them. And it's just, or it let's just say that the one parent, they may be the empath, the sweet parent, the one that's getting beat up by the other parent,
right.
and so and maybe now this middle child is the favorite of that narcissistic parent, which is why the narcissistic kid is narcissistic because they know they get they get in good favor with that parent.
Right.
So they beat up on the other one emotionally, the parent that's the sweet parent or the empathic parent. And so now that parent is the one that's giving them their supply. So
Right. So as we wrap up, how do we get to that teenage, that adolescent that is being narcissistic, has these tendencies? What can we do to help them to kind of get them out of that path so that they can become a productive adult that actually cares about people and they're not self-centered and
yes, if there's not a narcissistic parent in that situation,
right,
it's much easier because now you can have two parents that are in full force together on the same page in their parenting, co-parenting together with this child, and they
yeah,
can both be reinforcing the same rules and making sure that that kid is, realizing the things that you're doing right now aren't going to work for you. So
right,
not we're not giving in. So that's what you need. If you have another narcissistic parent, it's very difficult. It's hard enough being married to that other person, but now you've got a kid that's the same way. It's just very hard because, and I've seen it, where the narcissistic parent has kind of groomed the children to be against that
targeted parent.
targeted.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that parent, they would need some, some help themselves, some
Oh
therapy,
yeah,
their own individual therapy.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
maybe there's a way they can get therapy for the child. If for whatever reason they could be in agreement, say, hey, we think this child needs therapy. It's probably easier to do it when they're a child versus thinking they're going to do it on their own as an adult. So
Right, because a lot of these things are set in place now in their personalities already by the time they're in their teens. It's
Yes.
going to be hard to change them. I'm not saying it's hopeless because with God, anything's possible, right?
That's
But
right. That's
but
right.
but it would take some in some of these cases a miracle really for it to happen.
That's so true. That's so true. But there's always hope, in the Lord, pray about it,
Absolutely.
see what God is leading you to do, what the Holy Spirit is telling you, and just go with that. But just don't sit there and not do anything. That's probably the worst thing you can do. Try
Yes.
to take some kind of action to help correct it, because what's going to happen is they're going to be adults. They're going to be, having problems with their relationships. You're going to see them not winning in life, like in school, careers, relationships. If they want to get married, they're just going to have constant problems. And
Right.
who, as a parent, wants to see their child struggling?
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
you just don't want that. Okay, well, any final words, Karen, that you want to share with our viewers, helping, these parents that are, have these teens that, they're kind of out there, but, there's hope to get them back in. There's
Yeah.
hope to get them back in.
Well, I think I would just say pray, 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 because that, in raising even a kid that's not a narcissist or not showing any narcissistic tendencies, it's not easy.
Right.
You're trying to, like Tyler said, you're trying to give them the start of a good life as adults, right? And so you're trying to shape what you can as much as you can now before they leave the house. So just be praying, ask God for wisdom, and even join a parenting group if there's one going on maybe in your church or in the community that you could go to that will help you. It's just good to bounce things off other parents and see what they're doing and learn from each other because yeah, we're not going to learn all these things on our own. We definitely have to reach out and find information. I know there's a lot of stuff I've learned since I raised my kids that I
Yeah,
wish I knew when I was raising them. They've all grown up to be fantastic adults, but
that's right.
that's not always the case. And things could have gone in another direction, but a lot of the stuff that I share now with people I wish I knew then because it would have made my job easier too. Some things that I didn't know what to do. And I was one of those people that, my kids did see that sometimes I lost control, like I would yell or get frustrated and then they would see that, oh, but they grew up to be good people. So I'm blessed and grateful for that, but that's not always the way that it works out. So, having as much help as you can from the outside reading books, going into therapy, different groups, anything like that be good.
Yes, that's right. Parenting classes, they even have parenting coaches. There's so many supports and
Yes.
resources out there. Just don't give up. Just don't throw your hands and give up. Reach out for help, ask questions.
Yeah.
Maybe you may even see a successful like parent and their children and you see how they're raising them and you're like, wow, it doesn't hurt to ask them, hey, how do you do that?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even mind sharing that with you because I think every parent wants to see other parents successful. So we all have a shared love for our children, and they're our prized possession. We just love them so much that any parent that truly has a love for their child wants to see you be successful raising your child as well. So just to kind of put that out there. But yeah, so Karen, thank you. This has been so great. I appreciate it. And remember, don't just leave this with you. If you know someone who is struggling, who's suffering, who has kids that they don't know what to do with them, share this with them.
Yes.
Remember to like it so that we can get this to other parents and other people that this information would be helpful to them. Remember, don't let it end with you because there's such a blessing in when you know something that could help someone else and you change their life. There's so much blessings and good that's going to happen to you. So just wanted to share that. And we just thank you. And Karen, you had made a good point that if there are any book recommendations that you would like or anything that we talked about that you have questions about, feel free to comment, send us a direct message. We always want to hear from you. And even, right, Karen, if they want to be on the show, we'd love to have them on as well.
That would be great.
Yes. Well, thank you. Well, this is Narcissist. I'm Asking for a Friend podcast. And my name is Tyler King. This is my co-host, Karen Maldonado. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.